Ice here at Shawnee and Lake School on Canada's west coast here on Vancouver Island. It's a rainy, drizzly day here, and apologies for some technical difficulties we had. We just finished with 20 minutes of play here and had a water break. Just to update you, this is the USA U20 versus Canada in their traditional red. The Junior World Trophy qualifier match. Two matches here on the west coast of Canada. This one today here at Shawnee and Lake School, and then on Thursday from Langford, BC. The aggregate score, the winner of that will get through to the Junior World Trophy. And right now, the USA have put the first mark in the sand. A really well-executed try from their forwards through their captain, Hayden Crest. Driving line-out try after a couple of penalties conceded by the Canadians. So it's been some sloppy conditions, as I said, some drizzly rain here. So both teams having to deal with those conditions. Canada showing some dominance at some time. This will be very interesting on 10 minutes from their own line. And the U.S. had a couple of line breaks early on, not able to capitalize, closing the kick through, but not able to get through. They were held up over the line once. We've already seen a couple of goal line dropouts from the Canadians. So right now, Canada back in their own end, leading in the scrum through Patrick Kerwin. He's been busy, the Canadian scrum half. There's a good drive. They're going to go short side. Not much cover there. They put the boot to it. Matt Bennett gets it long and finds his touch. Bennett has been pressed into the 10 jersey here. Ty Driscoll, injured in training this week. He's really been the man in the 10 jersey, controlling this attack, building up what F.E. Christian Esterhazen had built up for the Canada team, the newly appointed Pacific Pride Academy and National Under-20 coach. This is their first game. In fact, for both these teams, it's their first full match on the field, which is incredible when you think about it. The Junior World Trophy places on the line. So two games, the first of which is up here at Shawnee Saturday afternoon. It is 7-0 USA over Canada. USA playing in the white jerseys, the U20 Eagles. They looked good on the ball early on, but big tackles going in from both sides. Short ball, nice feet from fullback Corbin Smith. You hear the U.S. coaches saying reload as the Canadians put in a big tackle, driving back, gaining momentum. Nice tip out the back. Options out wide for the U.S. Taking the outside, flirting with that sideline, but keeps the ball alive. Good work out there from Emmett Cook. Sorry, that was Tito Ejua. Loose ball, as we said, drizzly conditions. It's been fairly warm up here in Canada. Big, strong carry there from Dominic Pessag, and he's one of the he's the only capped player out here, earning his cap for the USA Eagles, the full men's team against Georgia. There's the kick into space. The chase is on. There first is the Canadian fullback, and he's able to touch down Ben Greenstein from Vancouver. So more pressure for the Canadians, but another goal line dropout coming for the Canadians. And they've used an interesting tactic, using the left boot and staying over this near touchline to the side where your cameras are shooting from. Again, if you're just joining us, apologies if the Rugby Canada YouTube connection wasn't working. We are now on the Shawnee Lake School, and thank you to Shawnee Lake School for not only hosting us here, but hosting this broadcast to give us all a view. There's that long kick. Gathered by Cook. Spilled. It's gone forward. Referee just calling the scrum there. The chance it could have been a penalty as it was played by Cook, who was ahead of the knock-on, but it will be a good opportunity for Canada. They haven't had a great deal here. As we said, their scrum set piece has been fairly solid. So, Kerwin again to put in at the scrum. Nice solid platform. Digging it out is Ollie Wiseman. Now they go wide. Straight from Wiseman. Again tipped out the back. Bennett is met. Man and ball. He's dumped.
Referee's letting it go on. I don't think he got above perpendicular, but great defense from the U.S. Well, the referee has now called the penalty for the dump tackle, taking him into a dangerous position, not putting him down safely. Either way, big pressure from the U.S. midfield. Matt Bennett in the 10 jersey, a Victoria product, just down about 45 minutes down the road, a product of St. Michael's University School, and now studying at the University of Victoria. As we said off the top, he got a late call in. Because of the injury to Driscoll. It's a Canadian group that's been up here at Shawnee Lake School, training, preparing. A little bit of a run against the high school team up here, Shawnee, who are today and currently playing in the BC High School's final up against St. George's, the two perennial powerhouses of British Columbia AAA high school rugby. And a run against a tied team, the great Canadian international Brett Bookerboom put together a group for this Canadian team to train against. But really only two 20-minute sessions there. So both the sides, and for the Americans, they've been based out of Chuckanut Bay down in Bellingham, Washington. Big high hanging kick. Oh, in the air was their early contact. Loose ball. Again spilled. The referee's got two knock-ons. The first one by the U.S. It's going to be a Canada scrum. Not a bad tactic for these rainy, wet conditions here. Both coaches talked about it. For the USA, head coach Neet Gariki. Started with a 52-player group as they've had some sessions over the year. Narrowed it down to 32. Again, thank you for joining us. A little bit of a lake. That one pops up. Early pressure from the U.S., a free kick against them. The U.S. Under-20 Eagles currently up 7-0 after that early try from Christ, their captain. And Canada chooses the scrum again here. Obviously the tactic forcing all of those big Americans into the scrum time, creating more space for their backs. Canada right through the middle. Off the right foot, off the left foot. Doesn't look for support, but a great break from Morgan Donardo. Now the forwards arrive. Quick pick over the 22. This is the best incursion so far for the Canadians. Quick pick and go. Claims of not releasing. Justin Tass is stopped momentarily. The big unit from Calgary. Now they go wide. Bit of a slip there for McGregor, but he's won the penalty. That contact is above the shoulder line. So Locke McGregor from Abbotsford, BC. Another player playing his rugby down the road at the University of Victoria. And several Canadian players pointing to the post. They want to get on the board here. And the format, just to repeat, is a two-game aggregate score. Both games up here in Vancouver Island. This match here today and then on Thursday at 7 p.m. down at Langford Starlight Stadium, the Rugby Canada National Training Center. And the aggregate score will book a place in the Junior World Trophy in Scotland. Apologies. That was a place claimed by the USA last year. Their victories over Canada. They went to that trophy. The Junior World Trophy is the second tier, the top tier being played in South Africa. Last year, USA went down to Kenya, played Zimbabwe, Uruguay, and Scotland. Didn't manage a win there, but then went on into the playoff rounds and beat Hong Kong. It will be Matt Bennett and his trusty right boot. Nice strike. It's high, and the crowd will let you know that's gone through. Canada on the board. 7 points to 3, USA leading. Well, probably fair after that Canadian pressure and that clean break from Morgan DiNardo. Not much wind here. As we said, it is drizzly, but a beautiful surface. Almost Shawnigan Lake School. Good work in the air. That big left mitt getting up there and knocking it back for US. They have the ball momentarily. There's a slip at the breakdown, and that's going to cost them. So the penalty's starting to build up a little bit. It's American players off their feet at that breakdown. Perhaps a little bit tough under these conditions. I think it was Bryce Muller, the big lock, couldn't quite get back there in time. And again, Canada slowing the tempo. They talked about trying to play an organized match, not afraid to put the boot to the ball, get it in behind, force the Americans to turn. And as ever, the Americans very athletic, probably a lot more experience as they have in this squad, and the team that's been named here for the first game. They have 6 players who played in Kenya last year, so a lot of experience, as well as 6 players coming up from the under-18 campaign last year in Amsterdam for the U.S. So they're starting to build a little deeper program. Brendan Keane overseeing the pathway work, as well as Scott Lawrence, the head of the U.S. 15s program now, just trying to invest in this 20s program and get some results. Right now it's Canada on the ball. Some big carries. This receiver out the back door to Jimmy Leach, and based in London. Oh, that one spills out again. Feldman couldn't quite hold on. And the clearing kick may not be advantage. Now the referee's going to bring it back for the scrum. So just a skill breakdown after Canada starting to build some pressure. The Canadian players getting a little bit of coaching from the sideline. Of course, Corey Hector in as part of the coaching staff. John McFarland, been great to have him part of the national team and the defensive coach for the national team been up here. As has Kingsley Jones, and a lot of support from the full national team staff for this U20 campaign. Big scrum from Canada. Great work from all 8 up front, and there's some congratulations coming in. Let's mention it off the top. That has been one of the stories of the first half, Canada's dominance at the set piece. And head coach Christian Esterhazen will be happy with that. The man who's recently come from UBC, also the Marilomas in Vancouver, but before that, head coach at UCT, the University of Cape Town, down in South Africa. That will give Bennett another shot. Derek Doyle there in the 5 jersey, part of that big unit. That scrum that earned this penalty. Born in Quebec City, but playing his rugby in Ireland right now. Clontarf Rugby Club. So just 15 in. Goal kickers know you do a lot of your training from this position. Bennett was up to it on his last strike. Let's see how he goes here. He's pushed it out right, but he draws it back down the middle. Well-judged kick. And Canada continue to narrow the gap. 2 penalties mean it's 7 points to 6. USA over Canada. USA subs, the bottom of your screen there. They're the finishers. The fresh legs if required, just going down to the end zone to have a warm-up. We have 35 minutes played here in the first half. Canada in the red jerseys, big carry there after the long kickoff. Straight back to Benedimen. He's been the man of the last 10 minutes with those 2 penalties. Long kick from in their own end. USA not afraid to attack. Good offload there from Smith. But into touch, and the crowd, the Canadian crowd on the far sideline, like to see that big defense. There's the chip over the top. Quick, well gathered, kept the ball alive. Canada in space. They get it to the wing. Morgan DiNardo back in field, his feet still working over the USA 22. Red jerseys firing in behind it. The crowd pumped up. Carry there from Feldman, midfield. Directing traffic, it is the hooker, Jeffrey Young from Toronto. Canada now flooding around the corner. Bennett pushes it through on the boot. Not quite deep enough, it's loose in goal. It's carried over by US. Doing well to get out from his own try line, but the referee's blown up there. I wonder if he's seen something off the ball, but that ball was still in play. I'm not quite sure why he stopped. It was carried in by White, clearly. He's having a little chat, and that is our referee for this one, Fernando Garcia from Mexico, having a chat with Christine Lovett, Rugby Canada referee. And he has awarded a scrum 5 meters to Canada. And if the scrum dominance from the last 35 minutes is anything to go by, this is a great opportunity for Canada to take the lead. I wonder if it was maybe an early whistle there from Garcia, as I thought the U.S. backs had done well to get the ball back in field. It won't matter now. 5 meter scrum, Canada to put in. Keep an eye on Ollie Wiseman at the back. He's standing up now. Man, who's playing his rugby at Cardiff Metropolitan University. He's one of the experienced players, played under 20 last year. They're on the move, our Canada. Just 3 meters to go now. Wiseman's up really upright. It's a bit strange, but there's not much to push against as the scrum has broken up in front of him. Short ball, it's been spilled forward. And questionable tactics from the Canadians there. As they had the shove on, they all seem to stand up pretty upright. And it will be a USA put into the scrum after the knock on by Canada. Given the interpretation, not a bad tactic from the US. They seem to stand up to a certain extent, and that's why Canada had nothing to push against. Keep an eye on Fernando Garcia, our Mexican referee, see if he interprets that. But I would not be surprised if there's some more pressure coming from the men in red. Pinned right up to their own try line. And it looks like they're not going to be kicking. Their first receiver is right up flat. Just to the left of your screen there. Perhaps anticipating the pressure that may be coming on. Here we go, ball introduced. There comes the pressure. And there is the penalty. You see the backs jumping up and down like they know what's going on up there. Interesting decision here for Canada. Obviously, they can kick to the lineout and have an attacking lineout. They can kick the points, or they can choose the scrum, which I gotta say would be my option at this stage after that scrum. Maybe they're just gonna back themselves. Ollie Wiseman's over the ball for the tap and go. He's got Schroeder on his shoulder. There they go, short tap, set piece move. Good movement. Still a couple of meters out. Canada, the hands on the ball. The inside ball spilled forward. So Canada backing themselves with the move they've clearly worked on. Not able to hold on to it close. So once again, the pressure's off US for the moment, but they've got to face this huge Canadian pack again. The U.S. backs there having a bit of a chat. Scrum half, Spencer Huntley, the number 8, Dylan Fortune. He is one of the experienced crew, was in Kenya last year, plays for the Anthem. This great program that's been built as part of the Major League Rugby south of the border to get young American players more playing time, not just sitting on the bench. Pressure by Canada again, and another penalty for Canada. Lots of celebrations, but I wonder what the discussion is about options here. Didn't quite get it right last time, and why not take another scrum? I think they may be choosing the points, and maybe the conversation with Ollie Wiseman is there, hey, are we close to repeat infringement? If they can't handle our scrum, are you just going to keep calling penalties? And you see our referee, Fernando Garcia, mic'd up there, just having a chat with his assistant official, Christine Lovett, on the far sideline. She has eyes on this as well from her position, and will have feedback through the microphone into the referee's ear. So, big decision here, and it looks like Canada have chosen the scrum, and there's a lot of old heads up here with me on the Derek Highlight Pavilion, and Derek himself, I'm sure, would be screaming, why are we not taking this scrum here? It's time. So, Justin Tass, Jeffrey Young, Brighton Feldman, the 18-year-old. They're the front row facing up to the Eagles. And again, Wiseman comes around the corner. Not quite sure what he's doing there. He needs to stay bound and add a bit of weight, but they go short side. One-on-one battle out wide. Not much room to work in for Cody. He does well just to keep his feet. Now the pick and go. The big boys are in, but the U.S. are up to it for the moment. Canada have been guilty about losing some ball in this tight contact situation. They'll need to hold on to it here and be patient. The back's waiting, getting a little bit cold, but the forwards driving low and hard. There's a quick pick. Nice chop tackle from the U.S. That was Rosenmeyer. Canada still 2 meters from the line. They're going to go wide to the backs this time. Man and ball in midfield. It was Jimmy Leach brought down. They're going for the line. The referee, it's given the try. Canada takes the lead here. 11 points to 7 in the dying moments of the first half here in the Junior World Trophy qualifier match. Wow, great reward for the Canadian pressure there. They did a better job of holding the ball this time, and it was through the midfield. It was initially Jimmy Leach who carried the ball. He won the collision. And coming around to clean up there was Paddy Kerr in the scrum half, spotting a little gap and diving over the line. So that go forward from the big boys is paying off, not only at scrum time, but also in some of those solid carries close to the line. Matt Bennett, the local boy, looking to add 2 more. So after a very bright start for the U.S., they went up 7 points to 0. They've conceded 2 penalties, and now a try. And there's a learning moment for Matt Bennett. The kick is blocked. And they won't have the extra 2, but an excellent end to the first half by the Canadians, and great spirit shown by the USA to block that conversion. They are the first ones into the dressing room as they sprint off the field. Canada comes in with their local supporters giving them a shout. Apologies for any language you may be hearing in our broadcast. The Canadian fans urging those men in red on up here at Shawnigan, and a really solid last 20 minutes of that first half by them. Canada lead this one at the half in the rain, 11 points to 7. We'll take a short break here and we'll come back in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Or sorry, 9.
Not ready? Okay. Well, welcome back, everyone. I'm Gareth Reese here at Shawnee Lake School. Apologies for some technical difficulties. Hopefully you're up, or you are up and watching us, and we got a great game here. I'm joined by Scott Manning, former age grade national. You played in games like this against the U.S. Scotty, you're also head coach down the road at University of Victoria. You got 6 of your players here. Just first of all, how important is it to have international test match rugby for this age grade?
Oh, I think there's nothing that can replicate the pressure that you feel when you're representing your country and you have that maple leaf on your chest. And I think even chatting with a lot of our guys that were when they got the invite, that was exactly what I said to them. Like anytime you get an opportunity to do that, you take advantage of it because there's nothing like it.
And taking advantage here today means starting that journey 2 matches. You got to win the aggregate score to get a place to go to Scotland, the Junior World Trophy. Again, the way we're measured here in Canada. And how do you approach a 2-match game as a head coach? You know, you got to add up the scores, but what do you really focus on?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I haven't been a part of too many of them, but it is like one big game, right? So I think your decision making around when to take points and just kind of staying in it, especially early in the first game, you want to just make sure that you got a shot when you go to that second game. So I think anytime points are on offer, you're going to look to take them. But yeah, you're looking at it as one large game, really.
Well, in this one, it was the USA out of the gates. They went with their forwards, a couple of early penalties against the U.S. Through Chris, their captain and hooker, they went over the line, an early drive from their forwards. It looked a bit ominous from Canada. They wouldn't look too organized in the first 10 minutes there.
No, they defended the first line-out drive quite well, I thought. Kept them out, but the unforced errors to start the game, I mean, both these teams haven't played a game yet. No. And, I mean, Canada didn't take the kickoff right off the bat. The ball bounces. They get trapped down there. And then kicking the goal line dropout straight to touch, and you make too many unforced errors in your own 22, you're going to give up points, and they did pretty early, but bounced back quite well.
Yeah, for the USA, you said early try, but they also had 2 or 3 other opportunities where I thought they could have made Canada pay. Mm-hmm. They chose to kick a couple of times, didn't quite hold on, and I think they're probably ruining those opportunities now.
Absolutely, and then I think it's tough when your scrum is under so much pressure. I mean, from being a coach, there's probably nothing more demoralizing than not being able to win your own ball and not being able to win a scrum. So it can feel like there's no way back in a game like that. So they're going to have to try to solve that problem.
And it was really through the scrum that Canada got their positives, got the crowd into the game, won some penalties, a bit of momentum, got one of your players, Matt Bennett, 2 kickable kicks of which he nailed right down the middle. And then at 7-6, this game was very much in the balance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of our guys at tight head knocked the ball on inside their 22, and there's no better way as a tight head prop than going right back to the scrum and winning the penalty back when you knock it on, and that turned into 3 right there. So I think that's an area of the game that Canada's definitely shown that they have the dominance at, and then when you have the dominance there, you just keep going to it as much as you possibly can.
Well, the last 6-7 minutes of the game was stuck in that USA corner. It was about the scrum dominance, and maybe a lot of learnings there from some of the young leaders about what they were choosing, the options. They won a few penalties. Were they choosing scrums? Were they going for the quick tap? In the end, Canada scored in the dying seconds of that first half through the midfield. But what was your take on the decision-making and how powerful that scrum was?
I mean, yeah, maybe a bit of a youthful decision, and obviously they've worked on a penalty play and a tap play, but I think when you win the scrum penalty, to not go just right back to it on the 5-meter scrum, and really, like, you're putting pressure on the referee there to maybe pull a card as well too. So talking about it being a 2-game aggregate score, if you can get 10 minutes where they're in the bin, I think you just keep going to that and put pressure on the referee to make a decision there, put pressure on their scrum as much as possible. So I liked they got a redo at it about 5 minutes later, and they chose the scrum. The whole bench was yelling at them to take the scrum. So good decision there.
Well, it's a rainy day here on Canada's West Coast, but all eyes are on Scotland in a month's time. Canada last went to a Junior World Trophy in 2019 down in Brazil. Last year, it was the U.S. that represented North America with a big performance down in Kenya. And again, how important is it for those players to get that experience to play against the second-tier best under-20 players in the world? That's what's on the line here after one half of rugby.
There's nothing like it. Yeah, I mean, like these kids, they come from different high school programs, different club programs, but the jump to this level is immense. It's a substantial jump from the rugby that they've played growing up through the club and high school levels, and a lot of them are playing university varsity level. That's going to be a good level for them, but just the more quality games that our guys can play, the better, and getting to that trophy gives them a few more.
And putting on the maple leaf, I've worn the maple leaf a few times as have you. It does something to you, doesn't it? It kind of brings extra special performances, and I think that's maybe what we're hoping to see here in the second half. Anyone on the team you'd like to look out and see if they step up here in the second half?
I mean, I'd like to see what Brighton keeps doing at tight end. He's had an impactful game with Justin Tass as well, controlling the scrum, so a lot of it's happened up front. I mean, Morgan DiNardo was our rookie of the year this year, and he hasn't touched the ball a whole lot, but the one time he did, he just sliced right through. So I'd look to see him get his hands on the ball a few more times and probably get in the end zone.
Although, there you go. Thanks very much for joining us.
Yeah.
That's Scott Menning, head coach at the University of Victoria, former national team age grade player, giving us some insights on the conditions up here. We're going to come back after the break, and we'll get ready for the second half kickoff. Thanks.
Thanks.
Well done, buddy.
Awesome.
Great job. Well done. Welcome back, rugby fans. Thank you for coming to find us here. We have moved sites, but it's great action here. Canada against U.S., the traditional rivals at under 20 level. On the line, a place to the Junior World Trophy in Scotland. That's the second tier of World Championship for these under 20 men. And as he said at halftime, it was a game started really well by the Eagles. They created some opportunities. They got their first try through their skipper and hooker, Caden Christ, a man from San Diego, and it looked like it might be a long day for Canada, but their forwards really responded. Big scrummaging got them back into the game. They earned a couple of penalties that were stroked through by Matt Bennett, and then right at the end of that first half, the forwards combined with the backs midfield, and it was the scrum half going over Patrick Kerwin. So it's currently 11-7, Canada leading, kicking off from left to right in the red jerseys, and they kick long. The rain is coming down at various levels here, but it is very wet and slippery out there. We're here at Shawnigan Lake School, our hosts. Fantastic facility. I'm in the Derek Hidlay Pavilion, and a rugby school that knows how to put on the game here. And the fans, although wet, are enjoying a really close battle. There's the left foot of Spencer Huntley, San Diego Mustang himself. It's gathered by his own team. Canada unable to get any hands on it. So USA with a brighter start here. It's some early possession. Through the hands back into Rand Santos. Open field. The step and go from Bennett. He looks to the outside, but he's chopped down. Nice covering work by the open side flanker there, Daniel Lowther. It's so important to see those loose forwards out there. And in fact, they've won the penalty. Canada not releasing at the breakdown. So maybe the message going in from U.S. head coach Neat Skyricky to put the boot on the ball, try and get these Canadians to turn. They absorbed a lot of pressure in that last 10 minutes of the first half, did the USA under 20 Eagles. That kick hasn't found touch, so it's going to come back with some interest on it. Now U.S. gathering deep in their own end. Catch and go, big tackle going in on Corbin Smith. Currently playing at Hartbury College over in the UK. That one goes through in behind. Nice work from DiNardo, keeping his feet. Incredible last couple of months from Morgan DiNardo. Was picked fairly late to represent Canada Sevens down in the famed Hong Kong Sevens, and had what it could be described as an incredible, that kick's blocked, sorry. Bennett cleans it up. Canada guilty on a couple. Bennett with the banana kick, but not really intended. Infield options everywhere for the USA Eagles. Through Bisag, the most experienced player out here, the full cap to his name. Coming around off his wing is Julia. They're brought down. This is excellent play from the Eagles, although that one doesn't go to hand. Picked up by Santos. Canadian forwards looking for help, but they're going to go the other way. Again, strong carry from Dylan Fortune. Engels over the gain line. Not released, but the Canadians had rights to that. They were on their feet. And our referee for this match from Mexico, Fernando Garcia, has awarded the penalty to Canada, so reward for some staunch defending there. Just to finish that story on Morgan DiNardo, on a Saturday night in Hong Kong, very different conditions, hot and steamy in the most famous Sevens event, one of the greatest rugby places in the world. Morgan DiNardo, from this great Toronto rugby family, had the Canadian jersey on, playing against the famed Fijians, and he got a ball and went 80 meters to score against Fiji on a Saturday night in Hong Kong. A great moment for him and his family and everyone in Toronto that supported him. But right now, they're in a under-20 qualifiers match. Bennett chips it over. It's a little high, doesn't quite get to ground, so the mark has been able to be called and was finally awarded. Good awareness from Bisag, and he taps and goes quickly. He's a powerful runner. He offloads to his scrum half. Is that released? Are their hands in the ruck? Just enough support from the Americans arrive. That one spilled, but it's gone backwards to the referee, but Canada have their hands on it. He's going to come back and call the knock-on, even though Canada had their possession. So, conditions playing their part here. Both sides spilling the ball. Bisag did so well. The St. Mary's man gathered that kickoff, showing great awareness. No surprise from that great program down in California, St. Mary's College. Called the mark and then tapped quickly because he knew the Canadians were not back 10. The man who won his first Eagle cap against Georgia last year. So it will be Canada put in. Again, Ollie Wiseman on the back of that scrum. It's gone down immediately. Referee's letting them go, so they go open side. Show and go. Strong carry from Jimmy Leach. Does his job. A little bit disorganized after the initial breakdown. And on his back is Ben Greenstein. He's just got that back. UBC old boy Raven did just enough there. Good support over the ball by Canada. The pod set up outside. There have been some issues with some of the front row boys holding on to the ball. This time they do it. Again, slightly slow ball. So Bennett decides to stick it up, and why not in the rain here at Shawnigan. Oh, fantastic take from Ran Santos. Man, originally from Manila in the Philippines, but currently a Cal Bear down the coast in Berkeley. Part of that great program. So 11-7 currently. We're just about 5 minutes into the second half. Neither team has scored here in the second half. Good pace mismatch there. The offload is picked up, and running into spade is Matt Bennett. He nudges it ahead. Was he taken down fairly? The referee's going to have a chat with the assistant official, and that is Steven Kinesevich from Edmonton. Man who's giving some support as the assistant official to Fernando Garcia, and wants to know if that tackle was made after the kick or in the action of kicking. will have an impact here. Ooh, and the referee's going to have a word. He's maybe going to his pocket. This is a surprise for me. It is Dom Bisak that's been dealt with. He's suggesting the shoulder, there was no wrap, maybe. I'm not quite sure why that's a yellow. Yeah, if he didn't wrap his arms when he was chasing that kick. So that is a close call, but for the moment and for the next 10 minutes, it will be the USA one player short. Bisak doesn't seem to be protesting too much, but he's an experienced man. He knows that's not going to help at this stage. And a further chat with the referee on the far sideline there. Just making sure where the mark is. That's where the ball landed after Bennett kicked it, is where the mark should be, and in 15. It's going to be right on the mark there. And so great reaction from Bennett, gathering the ball deep in his own end after it popped loose and looked like he may be around the outside. Credit Bisak for even getting there to make the tackle, but he didn't wrap the arms as is required in rugby union. And what a kick from Bennett. St. Michael's University schoolboy sticking it in the corner and will give his forwards a big chance. Now the lineout hasn't been quite as dominant for Canada as the scrum has. We'll see if Christian Esterhazen's forwards can figure it out. And fresh legs on the field, and perhaps no surprise here. On comes Corbin Smith. Seth Smith, and Hasjorn Ross coming in to give some fresh legs in the front row. And I'm sure after the analysts had looked at the tape, probably trying to mix things up, as especially the tight head was really struggling in that first half. Canada hits the target in the lineout. Now they're going to try and drive. The legs are pumping. They're on the move. They're free. They're over the line. Try for Canada. Clinical work as the Eagles pack broke up. Tough to see who got it down. But great work from all the forwards. Real patience there. And the big boys got the reward, and it's going to be Garen Schroeder, the Stony Creek man from Burlington, home of the Centaurs. And G gets a big one for Canada to extend that lead, 16 points to 7 with a Matt Bennett conversion to come. Yeah, just reward there. We challenged the lineout and they produced there. And perhaps those new subs on the field, maybe there wasn't quite the unity in the Eagles' defense that they would have liked. That thing opened up like the Red Sea. In fact, it was the red jersey of Garen Schroeder who got it down. Very physical player there, Schroeder, currently playing at the Western University. So many good university programs feeding this U20 system. Slightly revamped under Christian Esterhazen. Nice strike, and yeah, baby, from the far sideline. And why not, as the flags go up and Bennett's giving him something back. Maybe a little bit early to start saluting the crowd, but a crucial kick and try from Canada. They're up 18 points to 7 here in the Junior World Trophy qualifier. One of the fans yelling, "We need more red." That kick is right on the sideline. Oh, spilled in field. Nice cleanup from the scrum half, Kerwin. He's got a try to his name already, but smartly getting on that ball so the U.S. couldn't poach it. Now they possibly going to use Kerwin's left boot. He's directing traffic. He wants Wiseman out of the way. He's in the boot, and he sticks it up midfield. Interesting tactic. The ball isn't gathered by anyone. It's loose on the run. It's bobbled by the U.S. But finally picked up. Was he on his feet, the man who played that ball? Referee said play on. Frantic stuff here. Good strong carry there from Ross as he's fresh legs in the game, trying to impact the U.S. cause. The last two tries have gone to Canada. Halfway now for the Eagles. having to dig that ball out. Scrum half Huntley. Some big tackles going in from Canada. That was Jeffrey Young, the Toronto Nomad, who's playing at Bedwas in Wales. Canada have their hands on it. Back in the pocket. This time, Bennett slips, but he doesn't get it blocked, so probably the best outcome. Not sure. The referee's going to come back. He's seen something offside, I think, by all those Canadian players because Bennett never actually was able to chase. I don't think anyone was behind him. So, relief for the USA Eagles, who have chosen to kick down the sideline. Again, try and bring their pack into it. It's the right boot of Corbin Smith from Trumbull, Connecticut. About as far away from home as you can get up here in Shawnee on Canada's West Coast. Thanks for joining us. I'm Gareth Reese, bringing you all this action. Canada, U.S. fighting it out for the right to go to the Junior World Trophy in Scotland. This is the first of two games. Canada leading this one 18 points to 7, but every point matters as we'll get to Thursday night about 9 p.m. and it will be the addition of both matches' scores that determines who gets to go to Scotland. Wiseman comes through the middle and is able to bring that down. Bodies all over, and Canada's been awarded the scrum as it was taken in. And Wiseman did some good work coming through the middle, as did Ryan Cousins, another man who's playing his rugby at Cardiff Met. And Milk got in there, the man with the mustache, the white small mustache he's trying to grow. The boys call him Milk, but he did his job with the rest of the forwards disrupting there. So scrum time again. Let's see if it looks any different for the Eagles with Smith and Ross substitutes in the game in that front row. Referee gives his commands. He's going to reset it. That's for every scrum. The referee controls the cadence and the mark. Fernando Garcia, who arrived in Vancouver Island this morning from Seattle, heads out tonight. The school teacher from Guadalajara. Did a good job in control here. Was a scrum half when he played, as so many of these feisty, chatty little scrum halves become referees because they just want to keep telling people what to do. That one goes down immediately, and U.S. has been penalized for dropping it. So in these conditions, that is gold. We'll give Canada a chance to gain some territory, regroup. And you see Bennett going over and giving his prop there. And Brenton Feldman, man, who's from Langford, BC originally, playing for the West Shore Club. Another one of the players you heard from his head coach, Scott Manning, at halftime, University of Victoria. And great to see that Brighton's involved with Thunder Rugby, a program that has been set up and is a great opportunity for some of the First Nations in this part of the world. Shawnee Lake School, a big supporter as well. We are, of course, on the traditional lands of the Coast Salish peoples, where we get to live and enjoy playing the sport that we love. That throw is underthrown, and it's been well disrupted right through the middle by USA in the form of Bryce Miller, and that's the type of lift that US need at the moment. The Babson College man, also from Connecticut, with the help of his lifters, gets a steal there. Tough throwing conditions with the rain, and that's a beautiful kick from Corbin Smith. The fullback, one of the players, as we said, 6 of them who were in Kenya last year for the Junior World Trophy, playing Zimbabwe, Uruguay, and Scotland in last year's pool stages, and then getting through to a really good victory against Hong Kong. Nice line out off the top from the USA. They hit midfield. Big smack on Bisag. He's back on the field. Sorry, that wasn't Bisag. That was Threlkeld, the Cal product, a man who actually grew up in Hong Kong. There's the chip through. A bit of a bizarre decision. Now there's hands. There's options here for Canada, but do they find the open man? No. In space, we got a foot race out wide. The stop and go from Spencer Cody, Victoria product. And played his rugby at Castaway Wanderers down the island here. Good decision from him to keep the pressure on. He played last year in the Netherlands in that under-18 competition, scored a great try. See if Canada can get him the ball in space again. And now it's back to Bennett. It's been carried in, so he can't kick it straight out, and I think he has. So that's going to come all the way back. Again, just some learnings, a little bit of an experience, but to be fair to Matt Bennett, he's been forced to come into the 10 jersey after that really unfortunate injury to Ty Driscoll, who's been all week been organizing the attack. In fact, all month as these players have been up here training. We've got an injury on the field, just off to the right of your screen. Players taking some water, even though it's raining here. This has been a pretty frantic pace. Currently 18 points to 7, Canada over the USA. Looks like a little bit of a lower body injury. I think it may be Jimmy Leach. Yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to continue. He's tried to jump up and run it off. Brunel University man. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to keep going. So with the U.S. looking to put some fresh players in the field, and it will be Judd Berman and Oliver Klein coming on for the U.S. as the ball's been in play, so substitutions not being made. For Canada trying to get into the ball game and coming in late there. That is Marco Mitchell from Vancouver, so he's on the field now. Canada does have the full complement, but it's USA pressuring, 15 meters out. And there is a penalty against Mitchell. USA, 5 meters out. Canada thought they'd stolen it, but they're going to come back for that original penalty not rolling away. So just to sum up, Jimmy Leach off the field with an injury. On the field, Marco Mitchell. USA, 10 meters out, are putting on not only their full international, Dominic Bisak, who's returned from the sin bin, but Berman and Klein, who will come on in the backs to look to try and change the shape of this game. Good decision, I think, to get a different look out there for Neet Skaricki, the head coach. Great to see this program as very much part of Brendan Keane, who's running the pathway for these players in the U.S., as well as Scott Lawrence, the general manager of the 15s rugby down there, a great mind and someone who's just trying to build the program from the grassroots up. They've invested in this U20s, big donations, making it possible for these players to play and represent their country. So great to see in North America. Now it's their forwards. They formed up. They're trying to drive. Good work. They're up over the line. Can they get it down? Yes! Referees awarded it. And huge celebrations as the USA are back in this match. Textbook line out. They hit the man in the middle, and then they drove the legs right through. The Eagles very much back in the game. And it will be the substitute, Ollie Klein, to attempt the conversion. Trying to get a number on the try score, but it was the whole pack who went over the line. The kick is good. It's off the post. Does it squeak through? I think it does. So 2 more added. 18 points to 14. What a crucial kick from Klein. And we're going to give the try to the reserve. We came on the field. Seth Smith, the Houston SaberCat. He's no stranger to scoring tries. He's the youngest ever player to score a try in the Major League Rugby. He scored at 18. So he resumes that service and gives his team a huge lift here to get back into this match. 18 points to 14 as we have a water break here, 20 minutes in to the second half. Big week for North American Sevens rugby. Big weekend, I should say, over in Madrid. On the women's side, Canada just booked a place in the semifinal against France tomorrow, but on the men's side, it is crucial for both Sean White and head coach Mike Friday of the USA Eagles. Canada plays Spain tomorrow in a must-win situation to stay as a core team, and USA plays Samoa, 8 a.m. Pacific time. Again, same outcome. They have to win that to stay as a core team on the HSBC World Series. So good luck to both those North American teams. And putting the work in. It's do or die. I'm Gareth Reese here up at Shawnigan Lake School, our host for this first of two under-20 Junior World Trophy qualifier matches. Canada holding a narrow 4-point lead, 18 points to 14. They've brought some beef on the field, and that is Chucky Trollope. That's why he's on here, and the penalty's gone against Canada here for holding on. Ollie Wiseman doesn't really agree with it. He's having a chat, but it will be USA, and the momentum continues to shift. Those substitutions from Neitz Garricky have paid off, and it will be another one of them. Ollie Klein is going to get field position for his team. Ollie Klein, not far from here, Central Washington. This is club, but originally from Auckland, New Zealand. And another substitute on the field, Miles Malone. And for Canada, it's Thomas Wells Richards from Toronto, the Balmy Beach man, up the beach. Let's see if they can make it happen. Line out. U.S. Was it straight? Yes, referees let it go. So it's been all U.S. the last 5 minutes. The try and lots of possession. Canada having to defend for long periods here. Around the corner goes your try scorer. The 18-year-old. Decent line speed from Canada and a nice, well-weighted kick, and why not at this stage, making Canada turn in the wet conditions. Jeffrey Young, no stranger to this field, is the line-out thrower, and he hits his target. Again, the left foot of Kerwin. It goes straight out, and that was actually never inside the 22. So the American fans are going to let you know what they think about that. That means possession and territory for the under-20 Eagles. So Canada, a little bit of soul searching at the moment. We've got 61 minutes played. They're holding on to a 4-point lead. Again, the throw in this time deemed to not be straight. The last one was starting to creep, but because Canada competed, there is going to be a scrum to Canada. The new laws, which come in July, mean that had Canada not competed there, it doesn't necessarily have to be straight in the line-out. But we are on the old laws here. So Canada inside their own 22, but some rare possession here in the second half. Had a few injuries to the Canadian side. Ty Driscoll, we talked about his facial injury. Brody Lowry, man from Quebec, had a hand issue. And Thor Noble, originally selected to start, but through upper body injury, not able to be picked. So tough losses there. This is a real test, and this is what test match rugby is all about. What they tend to call the finishers, the subs, the bench, how they impact the game, how well they can keep the standards up. Can they make a difference? And this is what test match rugby is about. There's a penalty against U.S. Pretty quick whistle there, but Canada will be happy with it. And immediately going to the sideline is the Canadian hooker, Jeffrey Young, to try and get a towel and a dry ball because he knows he's going to have a line out to throw into here. There he is, drying off, getting ready, and then the call will come in from the boys. Bennett's going to take his time. And again, an interesting time for both teams. It's a 4-point lead for Canada. A victory is obviously would be preferable, but it's also about points and amassing points. And if Canada feel they're in a dominant position here, which I think they are up front, do they want to try and capitalize on that here in game 1 of 2 games? We'll see what their tactics are. They have pulled one of their loose forwards out to the midfield. That throw is a little bit wonky, but referee lets that one go. Nice flat ball. Good chop tackle. Excellent work from the U.S. flanker. Lowther, and he's won the penalty. Quick tap. They've obviously been given instructions. Off and running is Ollie Klein. He sips it wide. Now the left-footed kick goes through. Canada trying to clean up the mess. DiNardo's back early. He goes down, probably wisely. There's enough red jerseys there. Smart work from DiNardo to use that ground as an extra defender, as he's not the biggest man on the field. So, great explosion from the Eagles. Not able to get any points. And again, maybe want to keep that ball in hand. They kicked it away and gave Canada a chance to clean it up. And it will be the left boot of Kerwin. That's infield. This is dangerous stuff for Canada. Gathered by Santos. There's numbers out wide for Canada. There's space. Sorry, for USA, there's space. Inside ball. Good cover tackle on Ballinger. USA now spreading the field and lurking on this near sideline is Ajuya, the wing. Is he looking for a cross kick? Canada haven't spotted him. We'll see what happens here. Or they're going to pound away through the forwards. Again, Ajuya is unmarked. Here we go. Yeah, and he's going to get the ball. Let's see how it comes. Ajuya in space. Try. Smart rugby from the USA, catching Canada sleeping. USA take the lead, 19 points to 18 in this seesaw battle, 15 minutes to play. Referees confirm the try is good. Canadian defenders are a little bit guilty of focusing in on the breakdown and the pressure that was on the far side of the field. But credit the Brown University man, the Ivy Leaguer, Tito Ajuya. He just snuck out on the sideline, communicated it, and got the great kick across field. And gets USA's third try. Conversion is from the correct sideline for the right footer, Ollie Klein. Nice strike. He's flirting with the left post, just pulls it. So that lead will remain 1 point. Very much everything to play for here. Again, the result itself isn't the key. It's the points difference these teams will want to amass after game 1 here. This is a real test for this Canadian group. They've been together for some time up here on the campus of Shawnigan Lake School. Head coach Kingsley Jones and all the national team support staff, Coach McFarland, working on the defense. And they've had a lot of input. This is when it's going to pay off. But this is new territory for some of these players. Test match rugby demands special performances. And there's a big tackle on the ground. It's Ollie Wiseman. You got to credit him. The leader's been trying to put it in. Counter ruck comes in. They're going to use the boot at the back. That's midfield. So this is Canada's opportunity. Loose ball. And there's Wiseman all the way back there. He's got to head his team up. Is he going to use his backs? I don't think so. He carries hard. A quick ball will be a success for Canada. The pick and go, maybe not the best option, as the U.S. are able to get some players back in defense, and Bennett feels the pressure there. With Canada going forward, you'd like to see them release that ball with the men outside. Exciting stuff here. And after a massive shift, on the field comes Noah Canaston, another Castaway Wanderer, another Victoria boy. Also on, Jackson Jones from Duncan, BC. Cowichan Rugby Club. Well, two of Canada's great clubs represented by those men. Can they make a difference here as they're nation is down by a point against the USA. And Jackson Jones in particular, great IQ, attacking player. Let's see what he can do in the 20 jersey. Pressure again for the U.S. That's a scrappy scrum as it's crabbing sideways. The American substitute scrum half, Berman, just kind of chucked it in, hoping that it was going to come out. Another scrum. Lots of discussion about the representation of this Canada team. Obviously trying to get players from coast to coast. Some of the greatest over the years have come from less traditional territories. Rod Snow out there in Newfoundland, one of the many. This is where he got his first run at U20 level. And this is what this tournament's all about. USA's lining up out wide. That kick is maybe a little bit too long. It's sitting, flirting with the try line. Finally gathered well by Tom Richards. It's going to be a goal line dropout. So much to bring these teams together. We talked about the USA relying on their donors, but for Canada, needing players who are available, who can fund this. It's massive expense to not only assemble and prepare for a game like this, but then if this is successful, going to the Junior World Trophy, thousands of dollars per player. Some donors have stepped up for Canada. But for all these players, they need the support of their unions and their communities, and we appreciate it. Bennett going to kick it long. Is that going to go straight out again? Oh my goodness. Absolutely no reason to flirt with that sideline. Need someone to pick him up there because that is a costly error. It'll be a 5-meter lineout or scrum. And they've chosen the lineout. Well, the last lineout was expensive for Canada. A 7-pointer. Communication from the big man back to their hooker. Tess Smith to throw in. The Houston SaberCat. Oh, he hits the target well. But again, the referee said it's not straight. That one looked a little better to me, but Canadian fans won't argue, or the players. So Bennett probably more relieved than anyone that that throw was not straight. Canada have a choice, and they have chosen scrum. Well, so many learnings. You're under pressure. That's the only way you figure out how best to do this. Matt Bennett, who's had some great moments here, but a couple that he wants back. And I'm sure he has the opportunity to watch the tape here and get ready for Thursday's big match down at Starlight Stadium. 7 p.m. kickoff if you're in the area in Langford, BC. Big carry off their own line. These two teams will go at it again on Thursday. It'll be great to see you there. Entry is by donation. So if you can help these teams prepare for us up here north of the border, it's rugbycanada.ca. And I know for USA Rugby, they need all the help they can get as well. Bobbled ball, done well to hang on to it. As Threlkeld, it's lost out wide this time. So a very tense affair. About 8 minutes to play here up at Shawnigan Lake School. U.S. holding on to a narrow 1-point lead. And both sides looking for it, fresh legs. And almost on the field was Sumanitafa. And from White Rock, BC. And Caleb's going to have to wait. Just mentioning those great Pacific Island nations. As good as a chance in these parts. We lost a great man. Joe Fulafau, done so much for rugby in these parts. A proud Canadian, a proud Samoan. Most of you would know him as the father to Mike Fulafau, but Castaway Wanderer, who's done so much to contribute to the game, loves the game. So our thoughts go out to Cindy, Matt, and Mike. The loss of Big Joe. He had a moment at the 2019 Canada Sevens when Canada gets awarded the penalty at scrum time. Mike Fulafo had to play for Canada against the beloved Samoa of Joe, and it wasn't sure he was going to cheer for us. USA get a 10-minute sin binning here. And Mike said, well, my dad was probably wearing a Samoan hoodie with a Canadian jersey underneath. Rest in peace, big man. So, a little bit of momentum shift there. USA will be one short for basically the remainder of this game unless we have extended extra time. Bennett takes the territory. Nice strike from him. And on the field, it is Canaston. And playing for the Pride. That throw is not quite straight. Yeah, right in the mix of it. The Pacific Pride, of course, Canada's development academy. Phil Mack recently in charge of it. Jamie Cudmore before that. Really helping all these kids, the great Canadian international. And right now, Christian Esterhazen has been hired not only to coach this under-20 team, but build the Pride program. Phil Mack been promoted to national team coaching duties. Great to see the Rugby Canada 15s and 7s legend giving his back to the game. Of course, a proud member of the Tokwat Nation. He's been all over the world showing people how Canadian rugby people play the game. And now he's giving back to the kids. And the Pride program, such a success under him. These young men learning how to do it on and off the field. Nice carry there and into space. Still going. Is your try scorer, Seth Smith. He has been a thorn in the Canadian side, and there's space out wide. These are crucial moments. Canada coming offside. The arm is out. Advantage to USA. 14 men in white trying to get another try against Canada. Short ball, just 2 meters short now. Still on their feet. US over the line. Do they get it down? Referee's letting them play on. He's going to have a little look and maybe a little chat. If he hasn't seen the try, he may have to award a goal line dropout because I believe the ball was over the line. Having a chat with his assistant official, Stephen Knesevich. Of course, there was an advantage out for an earlier penalty, so that would be the call if USA weren't deemed to have scored over the line. No try, you see from his hands there, but we're going to come back for that penalty. Good refereeing, good calmness from Fernando Garcia, the Mexican. But Canada, no means out of danger, as it's a penalty to USA, 5 meters out. A little bit of a chat from the big man. Big men, and I think they're going to choose a tap and go. Here they go. Lining up. Having a look, off and running. Canada bring it down for the moment. Still 2 meters to go for the USA Eagles. Nice support as they try and wedge that through. Back up on their feet. Canada chopping, rolling. Now they go short side. There's numbers. It's bobbled, but I think it's gathered backwards. The referee's given the try. USA Eagles extend the lead here. Well, a great piece of individual athleticism to avoid the knock-on and get that ball to his winger. Less than 5 minutes to play here, and USA continuing to put pressure on Canada. Well, good tactic. They hit up 2 or 3 times to the open side and then went short side. They had the numbers, but there was a risk of spilling the ball. Just enough out wide. So 6 points the advantage for the US. The visitors up here on Vancouver Island, British Columbia, come into town. They gathered their thoughts in Chuckanut Bay, the great Polo Fields ground. That kick from the sideline is good, and those are the type of kicks that decide whether you go to Scotland or not when you're in a Junior World Trophy matchup with 2 games. 8 points the advantage for the USA as we near the end of this first match in the qualifier. What a kick. Beautiful high hanging kick. That's up there to be gathered. Canada knocks it back. Can they clean it? No, it's the USA on it first. And guess who? Seth Smith has been everywhere since he come on the field. He scored a try, he set up a try, he's picking up loose ball. He has been outstanding, the Houston SaberCat. That one's forward out of the hand. The referee's letting it go. USA exploding around the corner. And we don't have any video replay, so that one's going to count. What a huge finish here for the USA Eagles. Credit the Americans for bringing the energy. The subs have done their job. They've come on and changed the complexion of this match. And for Canada, they've just been found wanting, a little bit flat-footed. And the Stars and Stripes are being waved proudly on the sideline here. And what looked like a solid first attempt by Canada has just been completely opened up. 13 points the lead. Another conversion to come. I think it's Ollie Klein out there. Yes, it is. And he hit one that was 15 meters further to his right. You see his repetition there. The stroke he's looking to achieve. Nice kick, head down. That one's good. So the pain continues for the home fans. But for USA, they are in fine form. Referee's going to stop the clock here as more new players on the field. Tavita Kutu, another one of the anthem players out here, as well as Holden Hahn will be on the field. And what a luxury for Nitskariki, Elvis Seivailai. These subs have done their job. The coaches will be happy. This time getting up for Canada, it's their substitute, Jackson Jones, winning the ball, so possession. Again, every point matters, every moment matters in a two-game qualifying match. Canada will just want to get one on the board, narrow this current 15-point gap. Seemed to be in control about 5 minutes ago, but the whole thing has changed. Headgear comes flying out the side, and Canada have lost the ball. The USA now, with just less than a minute to play, may be happy to grind it out. Maybe even get it off the puck. They're going to go with a chip over the top. There's not enough Canadian defenders there. That one's gone forward. Canada, just a few seconds left. We'll have a last chance, Canada. And as I said, we've been in this situation many times. Thursday night, when the second match happens at about 9 p.m., everyone will be looking at the scores. And there won't be the one in the match that counts. It's the points difference. And right now, Canada have 15 points to make up for this game to end right here. They would love nothing more than to narrow that gap. Referee stops the clock again. And on the field, and because it's a front row substitution and the sin binning was a front row player, we're going to have back on the field John Henry Roos. So we can have a safe scrum here. And that will mean that Julia, the try scorer, has to come off. So there is some space for Canada. Keep in mind, Canada have one, or USA have had one player in the sin bin for this whole period, this dominant last 6, 7, 8 minutes where they have transformed the fate of their nation here in the Junior World Trophy qualifying process. Keeping is DiNardo, getting over the gain line. Good leg pumping from him. Quick hands on it by the U.S., but they've slowed it up. Bennett's going to kick again. That's a strange tactic when they need points, but well gathered at the back from the fly half, Ron Santos. That goes off the field. Referee's going to have a quick look at his watch. I'm not sure if he's on the same time as the stadium clock. Yes, he is. He's awarded it. USA victorious here. 33 points to 18 over Canada. A dejected Canadian side who had some really bright moments out here, but it all just came unraveled in the last 10 minutes. As the U.S. had a man in the sin bin, they were also able to score 2 unanswered tries. Great scenes here thank you very much for joining us. We will be doing this all again. Could be on Rugby Pass on Thursday night. Stay tuned to the Rugby Canada channels. Thank you for finding us. We had some technical difficulties up here in the rain. Appreciate it. And it will be a USA Eagles team that gather, having done the job here. First try out of the gates and then the last two. And it's a Canadian team that showed they have a pack that can be contended with, but weren't able to create much out wide. And perhaps a few tactics that cost them. Both sides doing their jerseys proud here, but after this one, after 80 minutes, it's USA 33, Canada 18. So as both sides shake hands, knowing they're going to do battle again on Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific time, down at Starlight Stadium in Langford. It's been a solid day of rugby, both sides giving it all. Well done to our referees in this one. Fernando Garcia from Mexico, safe travels back home. Christine Lovett and Stephen Kinesevich. I'm Gareth Reese, but here on behalf of all of our team at Shawnigan Lake School. Great hosts here and a great venue for these under-20 players to play in. Some dejection from these Canadians as their home side gives them some consolation. They've worked hard, but not quite got the finish they were looking for. That is the reality of international rugby. But there's a lot of pride in this group, and I'm sure they will bounce back. And for an American team, they will be very happy with the recovery they showed. And I know their coaching staff were really happy with the bench that came on and made a difference. So on behalf of everyone here at Shawnigan Lake School and Rugby Canada, thank you for joining us. Please join us again on Thursday night as we complete this fixture. Under-20 Junior World Trophy qualifying competition. All the best. Gareth Reese here with USA Eagles under-20 captain Caden Chris. First of all, congratulations. A hard-fought match out there. How do you feel?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty tired. It's always, those USA-Canada rivalries are always going to be tough matches. So, yeah, we're looking forward to the next match on Thursday.
And your team came out of the gate really strong. You got yourself a try on the back of your forwards. You must have thought that was a dream start after 10 minutes.
Yeah. It was pretty good feeling doing that, and we try to keep the foot on the gas after that. So.
But we got to say the Canadian team, especially the forwards at scrum time, they did a good job. The fans got in behind them, and they took the lead early on. And what were the thoughts when Canada was starting to get things rolling?
Yeah, so going back into the sheds, that was our main focus was our scrum. So just trying to get that sorted because we knew we were dominating all other aspects of the game. Our lineouts functioning, phase play was good, defense was good, but we just had to minimize the penalties there, and that was how we were going to get ahead of them again.
And what a finish to the match. You had a man in the sin bin, but during that time you completely dominated. You completely transformed things. A couple of tries and great energy from your team. What was going on, and as it was happening, you must have felt pretty good about it.
Yeah, it was a good feeling. I mean, any time you get into these international, even age grade matches, it's super cool. Good winning. Good feeling when you win. Yeah, so it's good to get behind the boys and see a result like that, even after we struggled in the first half.
And just going into final question into Thursday's match, the final of two, aggregate score, 15-point lead. I think you'd been pretty happy with that if you'd been offered that at the beginning of the day.
Yeah, I would definitely take that, but we know the job's not done, so we're gonna get back after it and come again ready to go on Thursday.
Thank you very much. Thanks for doing this.
Course.
Caden Chris, USA Eagles captain, victorious, 33 points to 18 over Canada. Great job, mate. Well done. Thanks. Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
It's crazy last 10 minutes.
I know, yeah.
Just shut down. Hello, Gareth Reese here, here with a very tired and probably dejected Canadian captain, Ollie Wiseman. First of all, thanks for joining us. We dragged you out of the dressing room.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
U20's match qualifiers. We know it's 2 matches. Things didn't look great out of the gate, but then what a performance from your forwards. You got right back into this game and you got the lead. What was the messaging? What was going on out there?
The main thing was just try and stick to our game. I know the conditions didn't go right today, but the main thing was just trying to stick to the game and keep in control of the game.
Must have been nice to be in number 8 hole behind that pack that were on the front foot, and you got a lot of penalties awarded to you.
Yeah, forwards are definitely dominant. Credit to the front row and the whole 8. Well done.
Yeah, and Matt Bennett was thrown into the 10 position pretty late. Did a good job. A couple of mistakes, but all those backs. It wasn't their day with hands on the ball. But what's the feeling from what happened behind the scrum?
Yeah, I think from behind the scrum, that definitely G'd everyone up. I mean, it gave backs a really good platform to play off. So I know it's hard with some boys only just coming in, but they did well.
Before I ask you about the big match on Thursday, because we got one more to go, just tell us about being up here at Shawnigan. I know it's your first taste of it, but the support you get here and some of the support you've had financially to make this program happen.
Yeah, big thank you to Shawnigan for letting us use the pitch and stuff. It's been great. The facilities here are really good, and thank you to the fans for coming out and watching and supporting.
Food's not bad?
Yeah, food's not bad.
Good stuff.
They do well.
Excellent. Thursday night, 7 p.m. kickoff at the home of Rugby Canada down in Langford. 15-point difference, not what you would have started the day wanting to have, but you think you can make up the difference, and what's the message in the dressing room?
Yeah, 100%, definitely. It'll be a big game on Thursday. Boys will get ready and remember how it was out here and use that to their advantage.
Well done. I know it's, again, not the result you wanted, but we've all been in that jersey, not going our way. I'm sure you guys can pull it out. You showed a lot of pride in the jersey.
Thank you very much.
That's Ollie Wiseman, Canadian captain, looking to respond on Thursday night, 7 p.m. Pacific, down at Langford at Starlight Stadium. They're going to take on the Eagles again. Thanks, Ollie.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you.